Hello everybody, I am RhinoCon31, your RPL F2 commentator. It is time to unravel a brand new season of RPL F2. Glad to have you all join us. It is time season 18, round number 1. The last 7 of the 9 previous season openers have been ran at Bahrain. Now it is time to change things up and run the season opener this time at Qatar. Let's go over a couple of things when it comes to the season and a lot of things we will expect. We will see brand new driver lineups, brand new tracks, you name it. Some new tracks when it comes to F123 being ran in this season of F2. Some new changes to certain tracks, new drivers, a lot to unravel. Let's go over the schedule first. Qatar opens up the season. Netherlands will be round number 2. Belgium round number 3. Singapore round 4 with the new Sector 3. Portugal round number 5, which we did not get to run last season due to it being cancelled. Round 6, Britain. Round 7, Hungary. Round 8, China. Round 9, Spain. Round 10, Australia. And to close out the season of RPL F2 action, we are at Bahrain. Also, with that being said, it is now time to go over the driver lineup for RPL F2. You have Prema, which is Choco and Kipu. Virtuosi, Lehman and Vade. Carlin, Skither and Beatnik. High Tech, Wavy and Suggy. ART, Ads and Gagi. MP Motorsport, Dylan and Bourbon Boy. Dylan is Get Wrecked, by the way. We will refer to him as Get Wrecked once we go in. Campos, Florian, and Griffiths. And by the way, MP is returning. You will see what one team will be out in just a moment, because the one team that is out previously raced last season. Campos, Florian, and Griffiths. Dams, Crispy, and FBL. Searles, Titan, and Valkyrie. VAR, Spenny, and Mythic. And the one team that is not on the grid this season for RPL F2, that is Trident. So that is the one team that is missing from our grid here at Qatar. Last time we were in Qatar, it was Bourbon and Skither, the 2 winners. Skither won the feature race. Bourbon won the sprint race. On our grid, we have a couple of previous champions when it comes to RPL F2. Here are the previous champions. We have Bourbon Boy, Griffiths, Beatnik, Skither, and Blonde. Blonde running a part-time schedule. Originally was going to be 5 with Egg. Egg backed out. Egg was also under F2 with some strict rules. But with the 4 full-time ones, it's Bourbon, Griffiths, Beatnik, and Skither. Skither the only 2-time champion of those. As for recapping last season we saw Prema win the title. That's their first title in F2 since season 4, where they just finished off 4 in a row. And Searles was trying to win it for the first time. They bottled a 60-point lead. So Prema won their 5th title. I believe that's the most of anybody when it comes to F2 championships for RPL. So obviously that is great to see some history being made right there. Prema winning their first in season 4. We're now in season 18 of RPL F2. Crazy how time has come the way it has. And how time has flew by. 16 drivers in our lobby. So obviously a little delay because the lobby was set up a little late. So we started the stream a little early. And Beatnik wondering what it would take to break Molly's F2 point record And it is time for the drivers to ready up. We are getting some action underway. So it is time for one-shot qualifying, and if you're new to RPL F2 or RPL, here is how it is done. RPL F2, obviously you have the sprint race format and the feature race format. That obviously happens with 10 points on offer for the win. For the sprint race, 8 points for second, so on. The top 8 get points. Feature race, similar to the Formula 1 style of points. Also, with that said, 2 points for the pole sitter, 1 point for fastest lap in both the feature and the sprint race. So overall, throughout the weekend, the maximum points you could get, realistically, is 39. Team-wise, it's something around 60-ish. We'll see what the teams can do this season, and the drivers can. Obviously, Skither and Beatnik, a very deadly lineup, something we talked about during the draft, and after the draft, we will see what the teams and drivers can both do. Obviously, Skither broke Luke's record of consecutive championships in a row, which is why I said when he won the title, a new face in F2. Yes, he won the previous F2 title before Luke did, but it kind of takes it away. And now with Skither not here today to start the season, let's see who can come out on top in qualifying and in the race itself and lead the championship after today. Get your poll predictions in chat. I know there's one other person watching F2, maybe now two. I know F2 does not get the viewership the other tiers do, but it is great to obviously have the drivers watch it back when they do race, and you all watch for the drivers you root for, as Wavy Knife obviously having to serve a qualifying ban. And with that said, Skither had the most polls last season in F2, and the big thing that we're going to focus on today is the last 4 races in F2, when it's come to the feature race, has been won by the pole sitter. And the pole sitter obviously starts on pole for the feature race, and the top 10 get reversed if you are new to this. So, Beatnik coming through. Beatnik had a strong showing toward the end of the season. Gonna try to continue that. He's scored a top 10 finish in the points the last 4 RPL F2 seasons. Crispy as well had lots of pace last season, but not a lot of points to his name. Francie won in his second F2 weekend of RPL. He's switching back and forth between his teammate, Francie filling in for Skither. And here comes Beatnik through, currently on the front row. The double, and now triple right. The final 2 corners coming up of the circuit. The circuit's been added to the game and was ran in the 2021 F1 season. So now the F2 drivers get to run, and Beatnik is off the road. That's going to lose him some time to Crispy, who currently has pole position. And now Francie takes over the front row. Coming to the start-finish line off the final corner. They all apply the DRS. Crispy, Beatnik, Francie, who gets it? It is going to be Crispy by 4/10 over the rest of the field. Francie, Valkyrie, Mythic round out the top 5 with Beatnik being on the front row. Here's your qualifying order for RPL F2. This sets the lineup for the feature race. Top 10 get reversed, so it'd be Choco and FBL in the front row. Either way, your top 10 is Crispy, Beatnik, Francie, both Carlins in the top 5. In fact, the top 3. Valkyrie, Mythic. Then after that, Bourbon, Adam Cotes, PK, FBL, and Choco. Choco, FBL, PK, the top 3 for the sprint race grid. Outside the top 10, we have guys like Titan, Liam making his RPL return, Spenny, who couldn't set a lap, Ads, who couldn't set a lap, Wavy as well. Speaking of Liam making his return, the last time he was in the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship goes all the way back 9 seasons in RPL. All right. Time for the action for the race. Get us your predictions. Obviously, remember, if you were new to F2, here is something to tell you. The sprint race, drivers do not have to make the pit stop. However, in the feature race, they do have to make a pit stop. The last season opener in RPL F2 was at Australia. Previous seasons, it was mostly at Bahrain. But in Australia, the last time out, it was Blonde and Valkyrie who won the Season 17 opener with the feature race and the sprint race. And Valkyrie is trying to keep up a most consecutive points finishing streak that is the best one currently for active drivers. Meaning everyone who started each race since then. Here we go, about to get underway for RPL F2 once again. It is a brand new season, Season 18. Who's going to come out on top on Qatar? It's lights out, and away we go. The two Red Bull liveries lead him off into turn 1. Adam Kotis, you can see, getting a good start, but Choco covers off FPL before turn 1, and he's going to go around the outside and keep the line he has, while PK skirmishes, almost causes a collision, hits a bunch of cars, accordion effect, around goes Get Wrecked. He's around at the back of the field. Absolutely beached almost on those curbs as Crispy and Francie collide. Crispy's off, and so is Francie. Both of them come together. The two who start up front in the feature race is going to have to come back through in the sprint race. But so far in lap 1, Choco leads FBL. Behind that, Bourbon Boy looking for a move, close to the car in front, and they all stay single file except for Ads and Wavy Knife making a move. And how about Beatnik and Titan? Titan up 3 places, Beatnik trying to gain some too. Spenny and Super Liam's as well. Liam's making his return to RPL F2. On and off throughout the last couple of seasons. Looking to make some noise here on the start already. Let's look at our positions gained from drivers in the sprint race so far. 2 for Mythic, 2 for Beatnik, 3 for Titan, 6 for Spenny, 5 for Ads. And you can see Valkyrie, Francie, Crispy, Get Wrecked, all those drivers who had trouble at the start going down the order. And Beatnik also following Bourbon Boy, who won the last time we were here in Qatar. He's looking for a move down the inside of the final corner. Cannot do it, but he's going to try to force him into a mistake. While that is all happening, it is going to be lap 1, going to Choco. And PK and Mythic side by side for 3rd place, last spot on the podium. Here goes Mythic down the inside. They're going to be wheel to wheel at turn 1. Bourbon and Adam switch places, and Liam's going down the order. They touch at turn 2. PK is ahead for the time being. Mythic going to fight this back by turn 3. A lot of racing room in sector 1 they have. They're going to continue to battle it out, and it is going to be Mythic who is ahead for now. Can PK come back at it? So far the answer is no, but it's so close to the inside at turn 4 and 5. He just cannot do it. Continue to battle throughout the field. Titan mentioning as well the last time he finished top 10 in the Drivers' Championship was back in Season 9 before last season. He got a top 10 finishing position last season, also a podium to his name last season, so a lot of hope for some of these drivers who got podiums, 27 of them last season as we start our brand new season. And add on to that 12 different winners. All teams saw a podium as well. And MP looking to be back on the podium as well once again in F2 as they return as a full-time constructor. In front of that, Bourbon, who won last time in Qatar, trying to make a move this time on PK. PK being vulnerable after getting overtaken from Mythic. And now Bourbon trying to set himself up for the overtake here for P4. Everyone on the hards, very obvious decision here for the sprint race. You can see Beatnik lurking on Adam for 6th place. Choco already out to a 2nd lead. Choco, in fact, the interesting thing to his name is 31 points in the last 2 seasons of RPL F2. Those are the only 2 seasons he's raced in RPL F2. Could have had a podium, had it stolen away from him after post-race penalties. Bourbon on PK, gets the move done before turn 1, and behind that, Beatnik also on the inside line of Adam, gets the move done, shoves him out to the curb, and says, no, not that time. Valkyrie ahead of Wavy as well. That's just outside the points. Valkyrie trying to keep her consecutive streak going for points as well. Here's ads on Spenny now, heading to the ending part of Sector 1. Cannot get the move done. However, we go back up front where there's a DRS train lurking, second on back to 7th. Remember, the last point sitter, I'll call it, is 8th place Titan. Has a little DRS train behind him all the way back to 11th. Titan as well on a current active point streak as well, trying to continue up some points. Also a consecutive finishing streak as well for some of these guys, such as Valkyrie and Titan. That battle, 8th place on back, continues. Shamoose, who finished 2nd in the championship last season, has a new lineup with Titan and Valkyrie as 2 drivers. Francie, Wavy, both pick up penalties. Here's Spenny looking to the outside on Titan. Ads also waiting in the wings. Did Titan just back off for the DRS right there? We'll find out as Get Wrecked gets a penalty. The 3rd different driver to pick up a time penalty for track limits. And here they look. They're about to be 3 wide. Spenny, Titan, Ads down the main straight. 2 of them with DRS, 1 not. Here's Spenny staying ahead. Now Ads looking. Ads goes ahead of Titan. And Francie had a Wavy. Also, Francie and Wavy continuing to battle it out. Wavy, a previous winner in RPL F2. In fact, his only one comes back in Season 11 of RPL F2. So with that Titan drop from 8th to 10th now, it puts Spenny in the last points position. And some of these guys, such as Wavy and Francie, wanting to take advantage as much as they can with the penalties they have, as Crispy now joins back the session. He's now going to be focusing on the feature race, with him lagging out. And side by side of the S section, Beatnik, PK. Beatnik goes out a little wide. Still going to battle it with PK. Is it switchback time for Beatnik? Not just yet. Down the inside, going to go late of the braking zone. Here you come to the triple right, where you really could set yourself up for a lot of overtaking here. About to be a 1/3 of the way in at the end of this lap of this sprint race. Francie gets Wavy. Beatnik now trying to get PK. You also have Adam following in the wings, waiting for something to happen. Being the 3rd man back. Mythic also closing in on FBL, as FBL is now within DRS almost of the race lead. PK seeming to hold his ground so far as well. And here we go, 2nd place in this race, Mythic on FBL. Get Wrecked with a 2nd time penalty. Also about to look 3 wide as Bourbon in the MP Motorsport car could not do it. Mythic gonna hold on to 2nd place. And now FBL and Bourbon go wheel to wheel at turn number 2. FBL is the one who scoots out ahead. But Bourbon not gonna give it up around the outside of turn 3. A lot of overtaking room you could use right there, which Bourbon doing just that. Is FBL going to hold his ground on the inside line? Here they go for this double right. FBL trying to hold his ground. Cannot do it with Bourbon Boy going to have the inside line for the next corner. FBL continuing to hold the ground, though. Just cannot keep it, though, as off the road PK goes, losing that spot to Beatnik. And DRS follows itself all the way back to 7th place. Spenny looking to get his nose in there as well. Titan following off the DRS train with Valkyrie, the teammate, following behind. The lead at 1.3, the gap is. Crispy with a 3-second time penalty to his name. It's the 4th driver to pick up a penalty. Last season in RPL F2, we had 2 brand new winners overall. That was Suggy and Francie, the 2 new winners. As you can see, Beatnik trying to make a move now on FBL. Behind that, there was an overtake with the 2 teammates of Valkyrie and Titan. Could see it again this time with Chaco. Chaco trying to win a first F2 race. Only had 2 seasons so far in RPL F2. Beatnik goes ahead of FBL, and FBL looks to come back at it and almost hits the back of Beatnik as Ads takes the fastest lap. That is just barely outside the points. now FBL follows once again, trying to look to the outside of Beatnik, cannot do it. Beatnik, a previous champion in F2, faring well so far in this race, making a lot of overtakes from the back of the grid. Well, I say the back of the grid. It's not really too much the back of the grid, really. It's just 9th place, which is going to be 2nd place in the feature race when we come later, as PK and FBL look to duke it out now for 5th place. The 2 Red Bull livery cars. Not teammates, though. PK at Prema. His Prema teammate leading and under threat with DRS going to be on the front straight this time with Mythic and Choco, if he could just keep it within that 1 second barrier. It's kind of a 2-car split as well, because now you can see, or a 2-train split as there's yellow flags. That's wavy around. But yeah, 4th to 9th, and then you have 1st to 3rd with those gaps as well. It was Italy of season 16, I believe, the last time Choco was in contention for a podium in RPL F2 and could have had it done, but didn't. And he's looking for his first today, and now looking for his first win, but he's under threat from Mythic, who's following suit once again. Choco shows him the inside line, gonna protect the inside line and defend it beautifully. He hangs on. However, the run to turn 2, traction could be gained. Mythic trying to look, cannot do it. Francie gets by Titan and behind that. PK as well, and FBL down the inside. They almost make contact. PK will be ahead. FBL actually gonna fight this back just a little bit. Wavy Knife out of this race. He retires in the pit lane. It's our first retirement of this race. And now you can see PK FBL, they swap spots inside line right here. FBL looking back at it on PK, cannot do it. And this has put FBL vulnerable to Adam Cotes, who's down the inside as Super Liam picks up a penalty. And that's his 2nd one. And Adam, FBL, they touch. And now you have Spenny looking to the outside now. Crispy with a penalty. Spenny on the outside of FBL. Gonna go side by side of the F section. It's gonna be FBL who holds on. More yellow flags. I believe that is Francie around. And Carlin's start that they were hoping for is not going to plan, as you now have Mythic putting a lot of pressure now on Choco for the race lead. More yellow flags at the back of the field. That's Liam around again, just struggling to his return in RPL. Here is Mythic, Bourbon, all trying to put pressure on Choco as Francie picks up yet another penalty. And now Mythic gonna pull to the outside line, gonna go the far way around. And if he doesn't get this done, he's got Bourbon, who's right behind, trying to make the move if Mythic cannot do it. And Spenny and Adam, they trade spots as well. All happening behind the race leaders. Valkyrie as well on the back of FBL. Valkyrie with some damage to her front wing, the only female driver to win an RPL F2, yet let alone RPL. Choco last season, you can see it now. Mythic has really put the pressure underneath him. Trying to look to the outside, however, Choco defends, and this is only going to invite Beatnik to make it a 4-car train. I was going to say Choco, 2 points to his name during season 17, 29 points the previous season. Just has not been his way. And down the inside for the race lead. They almost touch. Mythic has now got his car planted to the inside line. And Choco still defends the race lead. Like I said, Choco looking for that first win. Today could be the day. Or previous winners of Mythic and Bourbon Boy could go for it. Mythic sends it on the inside. Goes to the race lead. And now this invites Beatnik, who's looking in the background. Choco gives Mythic a bit of a punt toward the final corner. And now Bourbon looking for 2nd place. But it will be Choco who has the DRS this time. Remember, the difference between the RPL F1 and F2 cars, no battery. So it's all down to your setup, all down to the fuel usage. Here's Choco looking. Here's Bourbon trying to go for 3 wide on the main straight. They do go 3 wide. And now Bourbon trying to go for 2 and 1. Choco back to the race lead. However, Bourbon is going to fight this a little bit longer and almost touching right there. And Beatnik keeps this 4-car fight alive. And now Mythic is trying to keep the fight alive for second place to retake that place. Get wrecked with yet another penalty. This is a 4-car train between the race lead. Back there, it's 3 seconds the gap to 5th place. And they have a train as well, which is a battle for points. It's all kicking off in the later stages of this race to figure out who's going to win the first RPL F2 race of the season and who's going to sit on the podium as well. It looks like Wavy, who's retired from this race, is asking for Parc Ferme in future races from now on, as Adam Cotes, who's running 8th, picks up penalty. So that is crucial for Valkyrie to keep that consecutive finishing streak and consecutive podium streak alive. Podium last week in Abu Dhabi for the season finale of Season 17. Not going to be a podium today, but still could be some points to add to her name for Searles, who had finished 2nd last season in the Constructors' fight. Here we go for the lead once again. Bourbon and Choco gonna fight this out for the race victory. And all for the spots on the podium too, because it's 4 cars. One of these guys will not be on the podium. And look at Spenny, who's 2.7 seconds back. If these guys continue to fight aggressively, it could be Spenny who catches. And now Choco who defends. Bourbon looks to the outside. Bourbon gonna try this at turn number 1. Is it switchback time? It looks to be. And the MP Motorsport car, who did not compete full-time last season, looking to make the move. And now it's gonna be the inside line for turn 2. And now the outside for turn 3. And Titan is out of this race. And now Bourbon fights back for the lead once again. Can Choco remain on the top spot? Side by side at the double right. They touch! Around goes Bourbon Boy. And his podium hopes are now over. And now the lead is under heat once again. Mythic on Choco, excuse me. Will he keep the race victory? Considering there was contact between the two. Did Choco leave him enough space? And Bourbon almost gonna go around again. However, Choco remains in the race lead. .3. Spenny is just continuing to gain that gap, and he's bringing some cars with him with PK, ads. Here we go, Beatnik as well on the back of Mythic for 2nd place in this race. Choco's never had a podium to his name in RPL F2, as we've continuously said. But he's also looking for a first win as they come to the penultimate lap. Which way is Mythic going this time? Is he close enough by turn 1? No. The answer is no. He's not close enough by turn 1. He's going to have to wait another lap or find him in a tricky section. You can see Choco going wide to defend, though. And PK also following Spenny, who's just continuing to gain on these podium sitters. Under 2 seconds that gap now is. Valkyrie in the points, Bourbon still in the points, FBL trying to get back into the points. And Francie picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I think that is his race over. PK on ads, side by side for 5th place in this race. PK now picks up a penalty. So that's inside the points. Could invite FBL to get inside the top 8 finishing spots. And the lead is close once again. Here we go. Mythic trying to put some pressure underneath Choco once again. Question is, can he do it? Can he put Choco under pressure? Choco goes out wide and now invites Mythic to the back of him as we're about to reach the final lap. It is not over until it's over. You can just see Mythic fighting this once more. The gap is under 2/10 for just a moment. And now with the rear wing open, which way is Mythic gonna go? Beatnik also follows suit, waiting for something to happen with Spenny there following for the podium place. Mythic shows him the outside line. And now to turn 2, Chaco stays ahead. Turn 3, Mythic has enough momentum to fight this back as they head to the ending part of Sector 1. You see Spenny, the teammate of Mythic, there in the background, probably rooting him on. And Chaco, the race leader, picks up a penalty. How crucial is that for the race win? Now it's up to Mythic and Beatnik for their net race lead. Unbelievable. Chaco trying to go for his first F2 win, picks up a penalty, and it is all kicked off in the remaining stages of this race. It's now between Mythic and Beatnik in F2 for the victory today for the sprint race to open up the RPL F2 season. Here we go to the final closing stages of this sector. Francina picks up a time penalty, but now for the net race lead, Beatnik closing in on Mythic. Can Beatnik get it? With Chaco having the penalty, Chaco runs out wide. Now Beatnik's also closing the gap, and Chaco extends the track a ton. But will Beatnik go for it in the final corner? Will he use the help of DRS? The answer so far, no. They follow down the main straight. Chaco wins the race on track. Would have been a first victory, but it is not. Second on track is Mythic, and he will pick up the opening round of RPL F2 with the victory. VAR on top once again with Mythic a 10th over Beatnik as Spenny completes the podium. A double VAR podium to start off the season. Chaco 4th. Ads barely misses out on 4th. He's 5th. Valkyrie, Bourbon, and PK, your final points runners for the RPL F2 opener. Mythic finished P4 in the standings last season. Looking to back that up and potentially get even more onto this season. 5 podiums last season, but no race victories. He is back on the top step of the podium. We have had 13 different winners in the last 12 weekends of RPL F2 racing. That I find hard to believe. And Beatnik, who also saw the podium twice last season, backing it up once again. Spenny, also back on the podium. He had 1 podium finish last season. Now remains, again, keeping that record a little bit alive of podiums in each season. It's at least 2 at the minimum. And here you go. Here is your podium celebration for Mythic, winning the sprint race for RPL F2 with the British flag. There you have it. VAR back on top again as well in RPL F2. And here are your final results for the sprint race of RPL F2. Crispy obviously having 2 points with pole, but here is your standings going into the feature race. Mythic, Beatnik, Spenny, Chaco, Ads. Really anybody's game so far, obviously, to open out the season. Fastest lap went to Ads. Spenny also from 15th on the grid. I would give my driver of the day in the sprint race to Spenny. a lot of good drives you could really give shout outs for. I believe, in fact, VAR was the only team last season not to win an RPL F2. I could not get the full results there, so apologies. I would have got it, but we could not get it. All right, now it is time for the F2 feature race. And yeah, Titan, thank you for that. Hopefully this season we can keep track of finishing rates, incident rate, turn-up rate. That's something I'll definitely focus on this season for F2 and Tier 2, especially for you guys to see what may need improving, what may not. Just like we always keep track with the streaming number as well. It's just me and you watching the stream Titan, funny enough. But I'm sure a lot of the fellow drivers watch it back, as always. Time for the feature race. Get your predictions in for who you think is going to be on the podium and who is going to win. Either way, about to get underway for the second event of RPL F2 this season. It's the feature race now, the first feature race of the season. And in fact, keep in mind what I said. The pole sitter of the event weekend has won the last 4 feature races. So a big thing to focus on. In fact, with VAR having a double podium, Premo is the only team to have a 1-2 finish last season in RPL F2. That came in the finale. Here we go. Time for the 5 red lights once again to cap off the weekend for the feature race of RPL F2. We are go, go, go. Crispy with a good start over Beatnik. Going to have to cover it up. And he's able to do so with both cars in front. The Red Bull livery car following as well. Trying to battle it out for P2. Side-by-side Beatnik covering the inside line. Not going to have it for turn 2. Is the Red Bull livery driver of Francie going to be ahead? Yes. Mythic and Valkyrie now side-by-side for 4th place as they come to turn 3. Trying to find their place on the track. Bourbon as well, trying to battle it out. He's going side-by-side with Valkyrie for the position, and now the MP Motorsport car battling it out with PK. PK getting ahead as they all jockey for position. Everyone keeping it clean so far on the racetrack. They all stay single file for the first top 8 spots, and now the top 10 as they duke it out outside the points, trying to find positions, ads, and get wrecked. Titan and FBL. And they're all still remaining without damage and without any issue on the opening lap as we reach Sector 3 for a moment here. You can see the different tire strategies now as well. Francie, Crispy also on the same strategy as well. The 2 PSR drivers running 1-2. Francie gained a spot. Mythic gained a spot. PK gained 2. 6 spots for ads. Incredible start from him. And now Choco, who had the trouble with the penalty at the end, trying to get the position on Adams, but Adam recovers it. Remember, you have to make a pit stop during this feature race, and we saw punctures at the end of last season's race when it came to the feature race. Could be a big talking point today. Ads, FBL, Titan also jockeying for position, trading positions there at the end of the opening lap. And at the end of the opening lap, it will be Crispy, who was on pole position, leading the charge. Crispy currently has the most penalty points to his name in Tier 1. Trying to look to not have that happen in F2. He's got 12 total points in the last season of RPL. You know, considering he's been a member of RPL for just under 6 months, he's trying to win his first race, I believe, as well. So, a couple of the drivers trying to go for some first. And now, Mythic down the inside. Trying to be the first repeat winner of the sprint race and the feature race of the season. The last time that would happen in a season opener, since Jack Miles did it back in when we had the season opener of Bahrain a couple of seasons ago. And yeah, now I have Spenny. Choco as well, battling for 9th, 10th place. That is in the last positions for points as well. The lead, 1.3 seconds, and then you have Beatnik and Francie, the 2 teammate pairing right there for 2nd and 3rd place. Now time to figure out what they can do with that deadly lineup of Skither when he comes back, and Beatnik as well with a previous champion there. Beatnik out now also under pressure with Mythic following suit. Waiting for the right moment to overtake as well. Also behind that, trying to look to gain some positions on our board. 1.4 seconds the gap is as we now reach lap 3. DRS enabled. Crispy with the fastest lap. And behind that, you can see the MP pulling out on PK, and Beatnik also had Mythic, who was looking for a move there as well. Get wrecked. Comes under the pit lane. His race could be over as well, as that's Adam Cotes losing a couple of positions right here. It looks to be coming undone for him. Here's PK as well, trying to overtake Bourbon once again. Mythic as well on Beatnik. The orange livery cars, VAR, MP, whatever it may be, they just seem to always be in battles when it comes to this weekend in the Qatar feature race and sprint race so far. I'm going wide. There was Mythic and Beatnik. It was Mythic looking for the move on Beatnik. Couldn't get it done there, but now he tries to out-traction Beatnik here in the S section at the ending bits of Sector 2. Mythic with a lot more momentum. Can't get Beatnik this time. Behind that, the other VAR car of Spenny also trying to look for a move on Choco. Adam trying to look for a move inside the points. Up in front of that, though, Mythic is now in the back of Beatnik for the last spot on the podium. Question becomes, can Beatnik hang on to this? Because he's got a hungry herd of cars behind him. Bourbon might just be barely outside of DRS, but he's got more cars falling behind him. Spenny as well with Choco in the background. You could see a move being made right there for 8th place. Choco's been using a lot of track limits so far this weekend. You could see in the Qatar sprint race, losing the place to Spenny in the feature race. And now for 3rd place. DRS engaged. Mythic on Beatnik. Pulls out to the inside line. Makes the move at turn 1 and is ahead. Very easy, very simple move for Mythic. The first race winner of the RPL F2 season. Now a question becomes, can we get 40 different point scorers in the season like we had last season? And can we get up to 27 different podium sitters or 12 winners? 12 winners seems more possible with the amount of drivers who signed up. 27 podium sitters not as possible. Same with the amount of point scorers. You'd need a lot of RPL drivers to sign up if that were to happen. And Crispy just on cruise control, trying to make it 5 for 5 with drivers who started on the pole in the weekend. Winning the feature race. Could potentially do it. Could potentially get his first victory as well. Get wrecked with another penalty, and he is out of this race. Tires in the pit lane, does it safely as well, with Wavy getting a penalty to his name too. You also have Beatnik again, within a second of Mythic. Valkyrie also following suit, Bourbon as well. Titan with a penalty on his name as well. Now, with 11 rounds this season of RPL F2, I know there's a lot of action, but just to cover this quickly, RPL F2 action, last season it was the champion who had 5 wins and 10 podiums throughout the 21 events. Overall, 21 races, we'll call it, 11 events. What does our champion get this time? And who is it going to be? That's our question. Will it be a fight to the end this time, too? Is my main concern. There was a fight with constructors, but not for the drivers. Beatnik also trying to re-overtake Mythic now for 3rd place in this race. Ducking out. Try not to hit him in the braking zone as well. Here we go. Mythic on those medium tires. Going to go over to the hards when they pit. Beatnik and the others behind him. Also going to go over the mediums now. So will they have the advantage come time for the pit stops as FBL picks up a penalty? We have now 4 drivers with penalties to their name for track limits. If you'd like to catch the action next week as well in F2, we have action at Zandvoort. Tier 2 as well at Spain. And later today, Spa for Tier 1. And now Bourbon on the back of Valkyrie, trying to find his way past. Wavy found his way past FBL, but now it's Bourbon Boy's turn. This is the closest battle on track we have before pit stops come, which could spike up this race a little bit. We do expect the medium runners to be the first ones to pit, and they do not want to face a puncture like we had last season in F2 as FBL. Another penalty to his name. Liam in his return outside the points, not the way he would have wanted to start it, but good to see him back in RPL F2, a very long-time member. And another long-time member, Beatnik, making a move on Mythic. Around the outside, gonna go the far way around. He does it. He's ahead. Choco as well, also out of the other Red Bull livery car of PK. In fact, that's the teammates at Prema. And FBL out of this race. He is straight on. Whoa. Oh, sorry, that's Adam straight on. FBL is the one out in the pit lane, excuse me. I think Adam is logged out of the session here. Mythic, Valkyrie, Bourbon all following suit on Beatnik now, who holds the charge for third place. PK, Spenny, Ads make up the final points runners. Three seconds, Crispy leads Francie. This could be a first race victory for Crispy if he can just hang on throughout the second half of the race coming up. Well, Crispy, I have to say, he battled for the win in Japan. He battled for wins many times in RPL. And I've seen this in a lot of leagues I've owned, a lot of leagues I've commentated, a lot of leagues I've just raced. There are some drivers, and Francie picks up a penalty that's crucial for second place. There are some drivers, and Crispy is the point-blank example of this, who simply have a ton of pace, a ton of talent, a ton of speed as you see pit stops starting to happen, but never finish the deal. Crispy is exactly one of those drivers. He's always up front, always has a chance to finish the deal, but never does it. And today could be the day where he finally finishes the deal, and it could be on top. Here is second place. Actually, third place, excuse me, Valkyrie and Bourbon. Bourbon looking to the inside of Valkyrie. Gonna go wheel to wheel at turn one. Side by side they remain. It's going to be the MP Motorsport car. Bourbon ahead. Covers off Valkyrie, but Valkyrie wants to fight this back. She cannot. She has to back off right there for turn number 2. Pitting was Francie. Pitting was Mythic. Francie going to the hards. Mythic going to the hards. Both were on the mediums. And now becomes a question. Do you potentially reach a puncture here? And Crispy staying out another lap could help him not reach a puncture, in fact, too, because last season, this is around the range pitting-wise when people had punctures as PK gets Spenny. Spenny trying to fight this back. Spenny does fight this back, but now it's Ads who's fighting it now on PK. PK down the inside, fighting aggressively, losing the rear end right there, going out wide. Using a ton of runoff, comes back on the track and almost in front of Ads. And now going to switch it back. Cut back on the outside. Can't get the move done, so he's going to ride the gearbox. Tell him to hurry it up. And it is Ads who remains 7th place. PK does have a penalty to his name. 5 different drivers with penalties remaining in this race. Now with a 5-second lead over Beatnik, does Crispy dive for the pit lane? No. He's going to wait a little bit longer. And probably smart to do so. He's in his own race. He has no reason to bottle it. No reason to not finish off the deal here. He realistically has everything that he can achieve today that he's not achieved so far in RPL F2. PK, Spenny, pit, Titan, pits. Also, Wavy as well, trying to take positions as well. We have more battling throughout the field. You can see behind that. No, actually, that was in front. Excuse me, that was Bourbon, Beatnik, and Valkyrie. Now lurking on one another. Bourbon and Beatnik. 2 previous F2 champions right here for position. Remember, if you pitted here and you were started on the mediums, you'd want to go to the hards. If you started on the hards, you'd want to go to the mediums. And Crispy still holding that 5-second lead over the rest of the field. Dam's driver. Trying to win for them. If Crispy could do it, I know his tires are starting to wear off now, and he should pit this lap realistically. His tires definitely starting to wear off, but if Crispy can do this as Choco picks up a penalty, this would be a huge story for RPL, in my opinion. A driver who has had so much hope, so much talent, so much pace, never been able to get the victory done. And he just cannot speed into the pit lane here. You gotta get it down to the correct speed right here as you enter the pit lane. And luckily, gets it just under 37 as they battle for the lead. As some of them stay out, Valkyrie, Choco adds all pitting. And Beatnik and Bourbon are the front two. Can Bourbon get the net race lead? Or actually, sorry, the race lead. In fact, before they do pit, Bourbon showing them the inside line. Can't do it. Choco also pits as well. But Crispy comes out right now with the race lead, or the net race lead, excuse me, over Francie, who has a penalty. Crispy exits the pit lane now. There's Francie in the background. And Crispy, although he's got Francie a little closer, he is out ahead of everybody. And now it's warm up his hard tires. And with that 5-second penalty that Francie has to his name, yeah, all Crispy has to do is just run his own race, be smart, not lose any pace. And he can become a first-time F2 winner here in RPL. PK with a penalty to his name. In fact, the winners of as Valkyrie picks up a penalty, that's third place. Or sorry, net P3, excuse me. You know, I speak about RPL F2 winners, and the only two who have won overall for the first time in RPL last season was Francie and Suggy. Beatnik dives for the pit lane. Bourbon stays out. How much longer can Bourbon stay out on these tires as Wavy picks up a 3-second time penalty? He also staying out right now currently, and he might dive for the pit lane this time. He does. Liam, one of the only other drivers yet to pit, he's also pits in the Virtuosi. Crispy's got that comfortable 2-second gap, you know. I just gotta continue to hold on. And if he can, like I said, if he can do this, he's gonna be happy of himself. He's gonna gain a lot of confidence. He's gonna be happy. I know he had the incident with Scyther in Japan, which ultimately cost him the win, but you just have to hold on. You just have to be mistake-free in RPL F2 to get a victory. We've seen it with so many drivers. You know, look at the Chiller in Tier 1. How many races has he won in the last couple of seasons? Very few, and he's had a lot of pace too with it. Penalties, mistakes, that all factors in to whether or not you can win an RPL. This time being F2. So Beatnik comes out of the pit lane. He's 7th on the board, but he's got a lot of drivers in front of him who do have penalties that will be applied at the end of this race. Only other driver yet to pit in this race is Bourbon. An AC line, which is Adam Cotes, who is 14th in this race, not in the session. Feeling like his wheel is broken, so he will have to figure that out before the next round to avoid a dangerous act of racing with a broken wheel. But Choco is now in the back of Mythic for what would be the net podium technically, but Choco has a penalty to his name as Bourbon finally pits. Choco waiting in the wings, lurking. Oh, there's almost contact between the two. My goodness. Choco looking once again. He's going to have DRS on the main straight. He's got Beatnik following, who does not have a penalty. That's why it's so important, this battle with Mythic and Beatnik. Where does Bourbon come out in the pit lane here? As he exits now, PK with a penalty. Looking for 3 wide in the straight. Gonna defend that off is Choco. And now Beatnik around the outside. Trying to make the move. Trying to not have Mythic under threat as well, who doesn't have a penalty. But now Beatnik will have 5th place. And technically, this would put him on the podium right now, I think. I think he's actually just off of it. Let's see the gap. Nope, he would be on the podium right now over Valkyrie, who does have that penalty. Wavy Knife with a penalty as well. More penalties being added to their names. 7 penalties of the 14 remaining drivers. And now the only risk for some of these guys in the mediums, maybe Francie on the hards, which have been worn out for 4 laps now. Same with Mythic. Could be a puncture. That is the only worry, as you see Choco sliding there at the ending bit of Sector 2. And adds also on the back of Mythic as well for position. Trying to make the overtake. PK. Overtaken by Spenny. Beatnik and Choco now as well for P4. Once again, Valkyrie, who has a penalty, also making Francie a little nervous right here for second place. Obviously, Valkyrie has the 5-second and the 3-second, so Valkyrie trying to make sure she doesn't fall down the order as much as she's going to. 4th place right now, Choco and Beatnik. This is for the net podium right now. Here comes Beatnik, here comes Choco. Beatnik headed Choco. Choco trying to follow suit and try to re-overtake. The position is PK now is out. Choco trying to fight this back. Ads and Mythic also a battle on the track as well. This now promotes Titan to the points with that retirement. Almost contact between Choco and Beatnik, and you can see in front of that Francie, Valkyrie in a serious battle here for P2. Both with penalties, both trying to hang on. Sliding sideways is Francie, and they almost touch, and they do touch, and off the road they both go. And Valkyrie around! And if she was going to have a chance for points, it has come undone. Beatnik and Choco. Choco ahead of Beatnik now. That's for the podium on track, but Beatnik could take second place with all these penalties. Can you believe it? You could take second place with penalties. Well, Mythic also follows in the train. Bourbon as well, trying to follow and take this position back. All with about to be 4 laps remaining in this race, and it is a serious DRS train right here up at the front of the field. Second on back, Crispy also hanging on. No penalties to his name. Valkyrie adds another penalty to her name. And you see the amount of penalties compared to Titan. Titan could take it if he can just close that gap, obviously, with Valkyrie having damage. And Bourbon and Mythic switch spots. And in front of that, we're going to see 3 cars under the breast. Here we go. Francie, Choco, and now Beatnik. Wow, they almost touch, and Beatnik gets shoved out wide as 3 cars, or abreast. Beatnik, Francie now. Beatnik looking on the inside. They touch. They both go up. And now Ads goes through. But Ads has to cover off Francie now. As Beatnik is around the outside once again, trying to take the position back. And Francie shoves him out wide. Beatnik goes into the kitty litter and gets a penalty. And around the outside is Bourbon, who's going to try to go for it, who doesn't have a penalty. Could take this podium away. If he could get the spot, Beatnik having to give up places. Bourbon gets the spot. Mythic also with Beatnik as well, trying to fight this out for P6 on track. Could mean more with the penalties being applied, and Beatnik going to fight this back once again. Crispy, your race leader with a penalty. Luckily, he has a 6-second gap. Choco with a penalty. That's currently P2 on track. Could invite more people to gain spots at the end of this race. Beatnik on the back of Francie once again. You can see he's visibly upset after him getting forced off track. Into the back of Francie. Gives him the boot. Gives him another boot. Yellow flag sets Choco around in front of the field. But now they go 3 wide down the main straight with Bourbon trying to get back Ads. And now it's Beatnik on Francie as Mythic trying to fight this again as well. Beatnik is ahead. All trying to find their spots on the podium, trying to find their spots on track, trying to find their spots on the points. It is all kicking off, and Choco is around again. More damage to his race for sure, without a doubt. Titan can't get anything from it with the penalties that they both have, Valkyrie and Choco, so he's going to remain P10 if Liam does not catch him. So getting confirmation from Jack. Crispy's never won in anything of RPL. And now, Mythic, both VARs putting pressure on Francie. It's VAR versus Carlin right here for 5th and 4th place. Mythic now gets the upper edge, and they touch! Around! That's Spenny! Into the gravel! And Valkyrie is going to take advantage with damage to her car. Not only just damage to her car, but damage to her race. She was down in P9 at one point. Even though she has these penalties, she still could be P8 by the end of this. And maybe more with the amount of contact we've had in this feature race. This race was remotely clean, but this feature race has seen a lot of contact as we are now onto the penultimate lap. Yellow flags, that is Choco around again, promoting Liam to the points. And his debut, or sorry, his return, excuse me. Here's Francie on Mythic now, inside line. Can he do it? He sends it. Can he cover it off, though? Is Mythic going to be able to get the upper edge and cut back? He cannot do it this time. He's going to have to live another day. However, he's got the traction for turn 3. Could get this back. You can see Francie is struggling. Can't get it done just yet, but he's closing the gap once again. Man, just so close. Oh, they touch! You can see Francie slid into the corner and Mythic punted him. And he didn't want to overtake him like that because that could have seen the steward's office involved as Choco is now out of this race. The battle continues for P5. Crispy's about to see the final lap. What a day it could be for him. Mythic trying to cut back now on Francie. He has the momentum. He has the traction to do so. And now could be 3 wide. That's Valkyrie sticking her nose in there. Valkyrie now on the inside line of Francie, hitting the yellow curbs. Crispy sees the final lap. And Francie and Mythic continuing to battle it out for P5. And Francie's got P5 right now. Valkyrie trying to charge back. Mythic as well trying to keep in position to get back at it. Can't do it. Punt, 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 hit, hit, hit. That's all it's been with these three. Battling for a position for P5 through P7. Valkyrie trying to get back at it with the amount of penalties she has. She's saying, hurry it up. I want my position. I want to stay in the points, and comfortably so. Francis started P1, Ads started outside the top 10, top 15 in fact, started P16. He'd be my driver of the day here for the feature race, if not Crispy. But wow, it's going to be the 5 times now that the pole sitter is going to win the feature race in a row. Ads with a penalty. That's for P3. Could be crucial, but might not matter. Crispy is coming to the final corner. His fellow PSR driver won this race last season. And now, sliding to the final corner, he has never won an RPL. Adding to his name to the winner list today, penalty points, crashes, everything you could ask for the last couple of seasons in RPL. Finally, victorious! Crispy wins for the first time in RPL. He can now spray that champagne on the top step of the podium. Bourbon comes home second, Ads third. They all crash coming to the line. Valkyrie is out. Unbelievable. Mythic, Francie, and now Spenny will take a spot from that with a lot of damage on the last lap. And Titan, Super Liam, and Wavy will take the last points positions. Crispy, welcome to the Winners Club of RPL F2. Never won anything previously in RPL. Our first 2 winners, interesting names. Mythic didn't win last season in RPL. Crispy never won at all in RPL. How about that? Ads seeming to make the most of starting at the back of the grid, gaining places. It is the Chinese driver of Crispy winning an RPL for the first time. And in fact, even better, he is going to be the points leader after this weekend. Fair play. And I think, if I'm correct here, I'm trying to look at who will lead the points. I think it's going to be Van Amersfoort over Dams by 5 points. No, over Carlin by 4 points. Wow. Here are your points. Here are your sprint race results. Fastest lap going to ads. And here's your feature race results. Again, fastest lap going to ads. Well, there you have it. Well, congratulations to Crispy winning his first ever race in RPL. Winner number 72 all time. That means with the different amount of seasons we've had in RPL, we've had 9 seasons of Tier 1 so far. We started our 10th season of RPL Tier 2. We've started Season 18 of RPL F2. You got to factor in as well F1.5 as well, technically, and all that. So if you add F1 and F2 together, that's a total of 17. No, not 17. That's a total of 27 seasons ran. And then add Tier 2. 9 seasons of Tier 2. Add the previous ones, that's 4 as well. 13. So doing my math correctly, you would have a total of 41 different, no, 27, 13. 40 different seasons of RPL that have been started, right? Meaning that just about every other season, actually, doing my math wrong, we get almost almost each season, 2 winners, 2 brand new winners of RPL with that stat. What a race on our hands for a brand new season of RPL F2 opening in Qatar. In fact, it's the first time Qatar's opened up the season, second time it's been ran in RPL F2, third time it's ever been ran in RPL, let alone. Next week we run Zandvoort for round number 2 of the RPL F2 season. Later today we run Spa for the second half of the Tier 1 season being started. Tier 2 next week is also at Spain. All Europe surrounded. So I am your commentator, RyanOcon31. It was a pleasure to have you all join us. Make sure you join us for 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time later today for Tier 1. Titan and I will cover the action. Brand new winner in F2, or a returning winner in F2. How about that to start off our season? It's going to be competitive, it looks like, for the championship. Until next time, have a good day, have a good evening, wherever you are, folks. And good night. We will see you next time for RPL.